Hello, I'm Robin Ayers, and welcome to the official Johnson After Show. We're sitting with the cast of Johnson to unpack the biggest moments of tonight's explosive episode of Johnson. If you're watching this and you haven't seen the latest episode, pause right here and hop on Brown Sugar right now to catch up. Then pick back up with us once you're ready, because we are spilling the tea tonight.
Episode 10.
Hey, finale.
What an incredible finale in so many ways. I mean, I knew it was going to be incredible, but y'all really did it. Y'all really did it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I have to tell you though, we got to start off in a really deep moment here, because we opened up the entire topic of molestation in the church. That was really, really deep. So Omar had the courage to actually open up. Tell us a little bit about that, and even what that scene was like for you.
It was a pretty powerful scene. Pastor Allen gave me a ride home. And before getting out of the car, Pastor Allen reached down my pants.
Those are lies, all lies.
Don't touch me.
Blasphemy. How dare you come into the house of the Lord?
I think that in the Black community, a lot of things are, swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And I think this scene was an opportunity to bring those situations where people that feel like they're protected are actually being victimized, and they're scared to say anything because of the public opinion around it, embarrassment of them or their family's name, and what it does is when you don't come out and speak your truth, it ends up haunting you. And there's also calling out the people that take advantage of these people in these vulnerable situations.
Yeah.
And I don't think you really see that much from Black men. Hopefully that scene and hopefully that narrative will, inspire other Black men that have gone through that situation to speak their truth. Because I think collectively, if everyone acknowledges that they're not the only one, right, I think more people will feel comfortable telling their story and help in the process of healing.
And I think you don't expect it to happen to somebody like Omar.
Right.
You've been following him season 1, season 2, and that's not an expectation for him, because he has, this very strong masculine energy, but you just never know what somebody's going through or what somebody has been through, And so it was important to tell this story. Thomas and I had a conversation about it. I was a little nervous at first, because it's a scary place to go to.
Yeah.
It's a scary place to go to as a writer, but it's also a very scary place to go to as an actor, And I was expecting to have a conversation with Thomas about why this is important. And I didn't have to have that.
No.
Well, I didn't have to convince him. We still had the conversation about why it's important, but there was no convincing. As soon as I mentioned it, he was like, yeah, we got to do that. And he was ready and willing, to take on the task. And he killed it, man. Very powerful work.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And as an actor, you kind of live for these type of storylines, because you really get a chance to dig deep into your own personal life and certain traumas and things that you've either dealt with or you're currently dealing with. The whole point of this show is to shine light on issues in the Black community, particularly with Black men, that other people either are too afraid to do, or they don't feel like it's gonna be accepted by the mainstream, either media or audience.
Another real and honest topic was the death in the rap game, right?
Yeah.
We saw that with Little Day Day.
I don't think I want to work with him again.
Good. Because he's dead.
Wait, what?
Keith was completely shocked when he found out that Little Day Day passed. I mean, I feel like he came into this job really not with his heart in it because he's just trying to find new opportunities for himself as a photographer. And he gets to work with this person who he really doesn't think is going to have much of an impact on his life. And lo and behold, like, one of the most terrible things can happen. And not only that, but he may or may not have felt somewhat responsible because that beef between him and the other rapper was done because of a picture that, or information that he provided. So Keith is definitely in shock, and he's probably really needing to process everything that's happened.
Why did you decide to go there, Deji?
Because it's relevant to today. It's relevant not just to today, it's been happening. But it seems like more and more today, it's the value of life is cheapening even more today than it's ever been, you know, from what I'm seeing. And, you know, the rappers are people who we see in public. Those are the people who hit the masses, you know, super hard when you hear about a King Von or Nipsey Hussle. But it happens every day to, you know, young black men who don't have a name. And so even though it's an artist, it's Lil Day Day, it's a representation of all the young black men who are dying unnecessarily, whether it's by the hands of police or by the hands of our community. And there was a very powerful scene, you know, with D.L. Hughley, his character on the radio show.
Our black men deserve to grow old just like everybody else. But all I can say is, and it sounds so damn cliche, is just put the guns down. But it's up to you to actually do it, so.
You know, and I felt that was very powerful. He got up and just walked off. And, you know, DL, you don't expect that from DL, you know? But he really went there. He was very emotional about it. We had a conversation about it. Very, very relevant topic. Things have to change. They got to change.
Now, Deji.
Yep.
Did my eyes deceive me, or was Greg in that car with LaQuisha? Come on now.
Jarvis was working, so can't back you up.
They just went and got some food. You know what I'm saying? They just went and got some food. That's it.
Is that all?
Yeah, they cool. You know, Greg and LaQuisha are cool. You know, she was there for him. He was there for her. And
They're very cool.
what's up with the sound effects, man?
Just thinking about it.
I was there for We're all cool here.
All right, so we know that is definitely breaking the girl code.
Girl code.
Right?
Yeah.
That's breaking the girl code. But is it possible for a man and woman to just simply be friends? Like with that situation, is that I'm gonna ask you that question, Robin. Do you think Greg and LaQuisha can just be platonic friends? Is that possible?
I don't think so. And I'm going to take it back to season 1.
Okay.
When all of the guys were sitting at the diner and you all talked about unfollowing each other's girls and not having anything to do with.
Damn.
Yeah.
Y'all were on me about that.
You got the receipts.
Yeah, receipts. We're pulling out receipts here. No, that is definitely breaking of the girl code. So no.
We'll have to wait and see what happens with that because I have no clue.
But I will say Serena and LaQuisha met Greg at the same time. And you know, a lot of times when you go through a tough breakup like that, the one person you connect to the most is the person that's closest to who you were in a relationship with. And I think a lot of times that could have been the person you should have been with.
Life happens the way that it happens. So let people explore. Greg and Serena are no longer together. LaQuisha got to deal with Serena. That's her issue now.
Is that it?
We're going to go with you, Derricks.
Okay, all right.
You are up next.
Hey.
Oh, my goodness. We learned that Jarvis has a brother, and it turns out his own brother is the one who roughed him up. Oh, my goodness. That just tell us how you're feeling about that right there, and just not only just being roughed up by your brother, but he is your brother, you find out.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, it's like, it's doublefold because he was roughed up by, you know, a brother that happened to be his brother. Right? I mean, listen. So, you know, it was, there was a lot of things to work through. And, you know, the fear was, could this even be real? And is this even true?
They searched 36 years for their son. No luck. But when you appeared on that television, my dad jumped up and said, "That's him."
That's him what?
He believes you're his son. My brother.
And the more information he got was the more fear actually brought out of Jarvis because he saw that he was telling the truth.
You wouldn't happen to have a birthmark on your right shoulder, would you? Because my dad told me the main thing he remembered about his son was a dime-sized birthmark on his shoulder.
The thing, especially for our community, is a lot of times we don't always know our identity. There's a lot of secrets in family, right? You can go back maybe 1, 2 generations, and then things start getting blurry. But for him to start telling him about his identity and who he is when he thought he was totally something else, that was, that was very pivotal in his life. And Deji really wrote that episode up. I mean, it was emotional, so it was a lot with that. It was very layered.
And just from my perspective, the irony of it being, it's like a humanity thing, right?
Yeah.
My brother committed this terrible act against me, and so, and then in real life for Jarvis, that is his brother. I mean, it was just really well written and took us by surprise, but that was, that was an incredible right there.
Yeah, it's very symbolic, like you said. It's like, it's actually his physical brother who caused him harm. And that goes back to what we were talking about before with like the whole, rapper situation and the violence and all that. But didn't they look alike? Like
they did look alike. They did look alike.
That was a good casting.
It was great casting.
That was good. I was like, yo, did you know that? Did that happen? Because
And I think more and more people are like, this is happening nowadays more and more with like this whole ancestral situation. You know, people are taking these ancestry tests, and I think we were having a conversation on set the other day, and there was like 3 to 4 people who actually just found their siblings that they didn't know that they had.
And this actually played in my true life. I reconciled with my father 5 years ago, who I actually was totally disconnected with because I was abandoned as a kid. My wife did some research and found my father. And so I finally, got my heart together to where I wanted to meet him and found out I had 2 sisters that I had no idea. And over the last 4 years, we've totally built family, and I love them with everything. So it was just interesting that in my real life, I met 2 siblings that I had no idea about, and on the show, I got to use all of that for finding out my brother, who I had no idea about. So.
Y'all, give it up for Philip. Give it up for Keith, because Keith, you flexed your poetry, your poetry skills. You went and got your girl back. I mean, that was pretty powerful. That was pretty powerful.
I told you.
Keith is winning right now.
How about that last scene, man? The last, man, you sex symbol, man.
I mean, if it's true, it's true. It's true. Like, we got to tell the truth right now.
So, I mean, you said some things and you had done some things to hurt Jackie's feelings, but all is well now. Where do you think this relationship is going? Because Keith deserves that, right? He deserves some love in his life.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to see where this relationship could go, because I think Keith and Jackie have been through a lot this season, from like when they first met in the record store to like to the picnic to that unfortunate incident on her birthday. So they've grown a lot in their relationship, and Keith has also grown in his relationships respectively with each of the guys. And so he's in a really good place right now, and that next step for Keith is to see where this relationship with this woman can go. I mean, I have my ideas, and Deji could maybe listen to me or not, but the sky's the limit at this point. They could go anywhere because they have a very strong foundation right now.
I like how you said that. Sky is the limit for Johnson. You guys did it again. Such an amazing season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for entertaining us all. We appreciate it. And, let's see about season 3.
Three.
He's getting excited. He's gonna hit something again.
Shine.